Welcome to the very first Casbah Conversations with Patrina Wisdom is our special guest today, and co-hosting, co-interviewing. We have Ronnie Rainey and myself, April Stickelman. I've actually known her. You've known her how long?
We've been friends for a little while, but we didn't actually meet in person. We've been friends on Facebook, but we didn't meet in person until several months ago at Krista Richards.
It was probably like October.
Yeah, we met.
Yeah, October, November. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're like, hey.
Would you like me to introduce? I'll introduce her. So, Patrina is leading a movement called the Badass Bodacious Entrepreneurs Movement, and that's the Babes Movement. And she is also founder and CEO of a nonprofit organization called Hands of Comfort. And this has all come to be because of this progression of her life and what's happened in her life and circumstances. And she's risen above and took the reins of life and pushed forward in the best and most powerful way possible. And I highly admire you for that. I'll let you tell your story as much as you'd like.
There's so many layers to my story, as we know, but for the people who don't already know, my story kind of began again 7 years ago after being with my husband for 20 plus years and creating the life that, as little girls we dream about. We dream of falling in love and getting married and having kids and having the big house and travel and just all of those things. And by the time I was 35 years old, I had already accomplished those things. My husband and I were very successful in the financial industry. We had created a great organization with over 100 agents, doing well, living, the dream life. And in my mind, everything was perfect. But my husband had some struggles with identity and feeling like the external successes and the external accomplishments defined him. And so after the fall of the market in 2008, he struggled a lot with depression and a lot of those things and feeling like our family would be better off without him. So in 2009, January, my husband got up one morning and he put on his suit and his tie and he kissed us all goodbye and told us that he loved us. And he walked out of the house knowing that he was never going to return home again. That same day, I found out that he had committed suicide. And I also found out that I was pregnant with my fourth child. So needless to say, I was completely blindsided and my whole life was changed forever. At the time, I was a stay-at-home mom, technically, and then partner in the business, doing a lot of the training and development and recruiting for the company. But my real passion, what I love to do, is I'm a hyper creator. So I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a free spirit, an entrepreneur. And within the bubble of my marriage, I was always able to be that and be fully expressed, right? In all of who I was. I got to be the little girl, I got to be naive, I got to be strong, I got to be artistic, I got to be spiritual, I got to be mom, right? I got to be all of it. And what happened when he passed is that I was forced into the position of taking the lead of my family. And with that came a lot of responsibility. And with that came a lot of sacrifice. So what I found over the first couple of years is that I started to sort of step into his shoes and feel what he felt. That responsibility of feeling like everything's falling on me. And if I don't do something right, or if I don't come through, then I'm failing the family. And so I kind of went on my own little journey of a little bit of a depression and some days feeling like I didn't want to be here. And that's when I knew that, okay, my soul is starting to die. I'm out of alignment completely and something's got to shift. So at that time, I had taken over our financial business and I was doing it by myself, which was a very different deal than, building something together. And I made a really tough decision to walk away from the financial business and to go find my path, find out, who am I without my husband? Who am I without this business? Who am I without my family and friends in Las Vegas, which is where I lived at the time? And that journey over the last now 5 years I'm just going to fast forward because I could be here forever talking about this journey, but fast forward 5 more years after taking over the business for 2, and I started my nonprofit organization, which was my work of passion. Like, how can I give back? How can I support other people in really understanding that they're not alone, and that suicide isn't the only way, right? You can be here, you can be supported. Who you are and what you do is important. So I started that, and then I very quickly realized that's not going to pay the bills, though. It feels good, and it's helping people, but it's not going to pay the bills. And then I discovered this industry of personal development, and that actually was an industry, and that people were making money in that industry. So I developed my current company, Mindful Living Incorporated, which was the speaking and the mentoring and coaching, and now author. Yay! So it's been this whole journey of me really stepping into my own power, figuring out what my gifts and my unique talents are that I can present into the world and monetize, right? And then,
real quick, the book, the name of the book,
the book is Motherhood's Not for Punks. Motherhood's Not for Punks. It's it's a badass mom's guide to self-mastery, mindful mothering, and having it all when you do it all, which really kind of is a synopsis of my whole journey, right? It's like, how do I really take care of myself, be fully who I am, which is what the Badass Bodacious Life movement is all about. Being fully expressed, fully embodied, and integrated. Have a mindful mothering technique where I'm not doing to my children some of the damage and heartbreak that I had to endure as a child just because parents didn't know, right? They're living their life, they're doing the best they can, and the ways that affects their kids. And then having it all when you do it all, that's like, just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I can't have fun. Just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I can't travel. Just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I can't do X, Y, and Z. So it's really just the book and the movement, really everything I do is one, right? So you have the nonprofit piece, you have the personal development piece, we have the book now, and then even the financial business. So what's happened over the last 7 years since my husband passed is I've created all of these things that seemed very separate, and now they've come full circle after 7 years, which is not a coincidence, I'm sure. 7 years in January, and everything's come full circle, and now I'm also realigned with the financial business as well. So I'm now able to help people on a mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial level, which feels freaking amazing.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. Yeah. So it's like, it's everything we learn about, right? When we're in our spiritual journeys and our learnings, it's being connected with source, right? Having that connection with source, but also being grounded into the earth. And that's really what I'm working on. That's what my movement is about. How do we keep these connections? We live here on earth and still contribute to ourselves and. So I sometimes say I started an and movement. I don't want to choose either or. I want and. It's always and. Yeah. So that's kind of a really big picture of what I'm doing and what my intentions are.
That is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Of wonderful things you have going on. How do you manage all of that?
So that's the interesting thing is my old programming was to do and to push and to analyze and think about and figure out everything. And since I moved here to San Diego a little more than 3 years ago, I've shifted my mindset, and I'm no longer always creating, right? I said I'm a hyper creator. So now I don't create from this space anymore. I create from this space. And so a lot of the things that come through me, like literally come through me, where I'm like, okay, spirit, can I have a break? Like, I'm tired, okay? I just need to take a freaking vacation, because it's like, I'll finish one thing. Perfect example. Last January, I decided I was going to go do my yoga training finally, right? something I've wanted to do for myself. I got certified in yoga like back in the 80s. My age. And it was a weekend course. Okay, it was a weekend course at the time, and it didn't have all the spirituality pieces. And I fell in love with yoga. I fell in love with meditation. I fell in love with all of the healing arts, right? And spirituality. And then last year I was like, okay, I'm going to actually take a break for 3 months, and I'm going to do my yoga certification finally. So I did that. And then I was excited to get back to work. I was like, okay, let's get back to work. You know, let's get the clients, let's have some more retreats and do all of these things. And Spirit was like, nah, now it's time to write the book. So this is kind of how my life works. It's like I am a servant leader. And so I go and I do the thing that I'm being asked to do. And then as soon as I feel like I can take a breath, Spirit's knocking on my door again saying, okay, no, now we're going to do that. So how do I manage it all? Quite honestly, I have no clue. I just listen and I say yes and I trust and I surrender to the process, which is not always easy at all. There's a lot of sacrifice involved, you know, with the kids and with, you know, just trying to manage my time, and somehow it all comes together. I think really the power of it is just saying yes, just saying yes and being an open vessel.
Yeah. Very nice. Passion lights your fire and creates the momentum.
And meditation, which grounds me again.
Yeah. So what is your overall, you really painted a great vision. What is your mission, your overall main mission?
My main mission, honestly, I have more of a life mission than a vision mission. And
Perfect.
My life mission hasn't changed since I was like 11. I discovered personal development when I was 11. And I don't know if it was Louise Hay or somebody was, you know, talked about in the book that you have to have a life mission. And when I really simplify who I am as a being, as a spirit on this earth, no matter what I'm doing, my biggest gift to the world is love and connection and nurturing. So honestly, my mission in my life and in my business dealings is to leave people better than they were before we cross paths. So whatever that looks like. Yeah, I want everyone that I meet, everyone who even comes in contact with me to feel like I saw them, I heard them, I understand them, I love them. And so that really is kind of the underlying energy for everything that I do.
Great. So how do you see your projects affecting our community, and how can people get involved? How important is it? How do you see it affecting us, and how can we get involved?
I think it's really important. Do you have something to add?
Well, I did. I wanted to add that. We've heard about your nonprofit and your book and your personal development. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the financial piece as well, because we didn't really elaborate or ask much.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I want to help everyone when it comes to the financial piece, specifically women, because I really feel like we as women we have a tendency to give away our power. So part of the whole women's empowerment piece is, you know, not only to be really self-mastered, not only to master our own selves, but to master our minds and also to master our habits, right? So understanding how money works, being able to take control of our finances, know what's going on, be aware, not always depend on someone else to take care of us. So one of the things I've been talking about lately is a man is not a plan. Right? Because so many of us fall into this habit of, you know, as children, we put all of our financial future and our life in the hands of our fathers. And that's so deeply programmed into us that's what you do. So then we get a boyfriend or we get a husband, and then it's like we're looking to them and we're putting all of our control in their hands. And I do believe there's a way to co-create and to collaborate on those things, but I also feel like women need to take a little bit more initiative and just know more and stop waiting to be saved. And that sounds harsh, but one of my jobs in life is to lovingly kick people in the ass. So there we go. You know, I really feel like as women, we have to stop waiting to be saved. We have to find this place of wholeness and completion within ourselves and worthiness and like just knowing that we're able, right? And from that, we attract that same frequency instead of things kind of being unbalanced all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really the financial piece. And then beyond just educating people and helping them to create and build and sustain their own wealth, but also the whole mission of reach one, teach one.
Mm-hmm.
So then empowering them so that they can go out. And the way I see it is, if you get to the women, you're changing the world, right? Because we're the ones who raise the kids. We're the ones who set the tone for the households. Now we're running businesses. Like, we have a voice. And what are we doing with that voice, right? I just feel like we need to find all different kind of diverse ways to empower women in every area of our life. So some people are doing it in health. I like the health piece. It's just not my jam.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships, yeah, I think I'm still working on that one. But when it comes to spirituality, mentality, leadership, finance, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm making my mark.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So back to April's question, how do we get people involved? Can you rephrase your question? That was
how do you see this affecting the community? And how is it important?
I see it affecting the community daily, just because as each of us evolve and grow and become more aware, that trickles out.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the movement itself, I mean, I have so many different ways for people to get involved. I mean, they can become a part of my nonprofit and volunteer in that way. I have not started doing too many events here in San Diego yet, and that is something actually that there's my call to action.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to the mission of our nonprofit is to support people through mental and emotional distress, ultimately so that they don't consider suicide, right? And so supporting them in that way, definitely looking to collaborate there. Mm-hmm. As far as my Badass Bodacious Life movement, I have my Badass Bodacious Entrepreneurs group on Facebook. Just join the conversation. I'm one of these creators that I kind of respond to the needs. Right. Mm-hmm. And so there'll be trends in what people's pains are. And then it's like, oh, of course, this is the next thing. And I kind of shift and move in that way. Mm-hmm. And then as far as the finances are concerned, reach out to me on any of these fronts, Patrina at patrinawisdom.com. I would love to have a conversation. I make myself very available to answer questions, to support people. I'm not one of these leaders that's like, oh no, if you're not in my program, I'm not going to talk to you. It's just not who I am. So I'm always here to support in any way.
Yeah, we found that a lot of our people in this community mm-hmm. have been engaging in the money conversation mm-hmm. all at the same time.
Isn't it funny? I think there's a planetary shift that's happening, and people are starting to realize, that they need to be more aware. Because money is a thing that we chase, and we get it. Like, there's people who they can make money no problem all the time. But how do you keep it? How do you keep it? How do you be a contribution, not only to everyone else, right? Because I think that's an internal programming as well, where it's like an unworthiness thing, mm-hmm. where you feel like, oh my God, I have this money, I need to give it away. Like we have to be very aware of what's driving our decisions. And it's okay to keep money. It's okay to have money. It's okay to make money. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be money. Money's fun.
Yeah, so we'll be having workshops coming up.
Yes. Money is fun. Workshop. There we go. Write it down.
Yeah, I like that.
You can roll in it. You can wipe your mouth with it. I don't suggest that, but yeah, let's find some ways to make money less scary and mystifying. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's just a piece of paper.
That does come from trees.
Yes, exactly. Oh, there we go. Connection point.
Yeah. Well, that's so grateful to hear about your story and about some of the projects that you're doing, and definitely want to be on your team. Want to be a part of that. It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited. Mm-hmm. Really excited for what's to come.
Me too. So much fun.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Where do we find you again?
Well, my website is patrinawisdom.com, but email me anytime, Patrina at patrinawisdom.com. And I think probably if I had to leave everyone with one thing, it's just be good to yourself. Own all of who you are, the light and the dark, and let her shine. Because it's all all useful for something.
Mhm.
You know, it's just really knowing when to flow into those different parts of who you are and use them to your advantage.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming.
for having me.